What if I told you that hidden beneath Queensland's landscape, thousands of forgotten industrial wounds are silently pumping greenhouse gases into our atmosphere at a rate that could dwarf entire city emissions? This isn't science fiction. It's the stark reality environmental experts are now calling for immediate action on. Environmental advocates are demanding a comprehensive investigation into what could be thousands of methane-spewing coal exploration holes scattered across Queensland, while industry specialists warn that New South Wales harbors an undetermined quantity of similar potentially leaking sites. Just last week, groundbreaking research exposed a shocking discovery. 2 neglected exploratory coal drilling sites were hemorrhaging methane gas at levels matching the emissions from 10,000 operating automobiles. But here's where it gets controversial. This might represent merely a fraction of a much larger environmental crisis. Previous federal government assessments have documented approximately 130,000 abandoned coal exploration drill sites within Queensland's Surat and Bowen coal regions, where the effectiveness of closure procedures to properly seal these openings remains completely unknown. Think about that number for a moment. 130,000 potential emission sources that nobody has properly checked. The Queensland Conservation Council has characterized the University of Queensland findings as revealing just the tip of the methane iceberg. A statement that should send chills down every environmentally conscious person's spine. Charlie Cox, who campaigns against coal and gas expansion for the council, is pushing for the Queensland government to launch a comprehensive statewide examination of these drilling sites. Her proposal? Make the coal industry pay for their own cleanup. This represents an ideal application for coal royalty revenues, Cox argued. When no identifiable coal company remains operational to address the environmental damage, the outstanding remediation expenses should be covered through a tax imposed on all active coal mining operations. And this is the part most people miss. The mathematics behind this crisis are genuinely terrifying. Cox calculated that if merely 5% of those estimated 130,000 legacy coal boreholes were releasing methane at comparable levels to the University of Queensland discoveries, we're looking at emissions equivalent to 65 million automobiles. To put this in perspective, methane gas creates planetary warming effects approximately 80 times more intense than carbon dioxide when measured over a 2-decade time frame. This isn't just another environmental issue. It's a climate emergency hiding in plain sight. Cox challenged the current administration directly. Addressing methane emissions represents one of the most rapid and impactful opportunities available to the Crisafulli government for combating climate change. But then, she asked the question that cuts to the heart of the controversy. Why would anyone consider adding more methane pollution through new coal and gas developments when we haven't even accurately measured or controlled the environmental burden left behind by existing coal boreholes? Dr. Stephen Harris, a recognized authority on greenhouse gas emissions from fossil fuel operations, emphasized that this research has illuminated a potentially unaccounted emission source affecting not just Queensland, but additional regions throughout Australia with extensive fossil fuel exploration histories. The scope extends far beyond Queensland's borders. Harris revealed that New South Wales government records indicate over 9,000 documented coal exploration boreholes within that state alone. The total number of abandoned drilling sites remains a complete mystery, Harris explained, highlighting a disturbing knowledge gap in our environmental oversight. Interestingly, Harris noted that only a limited number of coal exploration and water boreholes in NSW have undergone methane testing, and those showed minimal emissions. However, it's unclear whether this pattern holds everywhere, and this current research demonstrates there could be additional high-emission sites we simply haven't discovered yet. The detection methods themselves reveal how we might have been missing this problem entirely. Harris praised the specialized thermal imaging cameras employed by the University of Queensland team, which identified emissions from a borehole that could have been overlooked or dismissed as insignificant. But here's the silver lining that industry critics don't want you to hear. Harris confirmed that measuring borehole emissions and properly sealing leaks can demonstrate clear reductions in atmospheric methane release, delivering measurable climate benefits. This means we actually know how to fix the problem. The question is whether we have the political will to demand action. When approached for comment regarding a potential borehole audit and cost recovery mechanisms, the Queensland government remained conspicuously silent, refusing to respond to direct questions about their plans. This silence raises uncomfortable questions. Are our elected officials taking this crisis seriously? Should coal companies bear full financial responsibility for cleaning up their environmental legacy? And most importantly, how many more methane icebergs are we going to discover before someone takes decisive action? What's your take on this environmental time bomb? Do you think the coal industry should foot the entire bill for cleanup, or should taxpayers share the burden? And here's the controversial question nobody wants to ask. Should we halt all new coal and gas projects until we've properly addressed the existing mess? Share your thoughts, because this debate affects every one of us breathing the same atmosphere.